Okay. I've never done one of these kinds of videos before. I'm wearing nice cleanliness gloves and all that to try and seem professional about this, I guess. But yeah, today we're going to talk about some games. And these are games that I've never heard of before, but have recently acquired through very laborious means of mailing. So, as you may have clicked the video because of the sign and everything that's on it, but we're going to talk about some One Piece GameBoy Color games. I did not know that these existed until recently, and it seems most of the world doesn't either. Now, these were released only in Japan, and even then, if you look up anything about these games on YouTube, from everything that I had found, this does not seem to be a very popular game. In fact, these seem to be very obscure games, for some reason. Now, on eBay, you can find the cartridges, generally, for a sum, not a whole lot, but a small amount. But finding them complete in box is rather odd as well. Regarding the first game, because this is the first game in the blue box, there's only one silent playthrough from Thailand on YouTube of this game, and a 5-minute clip of the game from the UK. And apparently, as well, there was recently a 40-minute look at from some Spanish channel of unknown origin. But here's the thing that I found is that these games aren't even covered by anyone from Japan. It's very few people seem to take a real interest in these, and it's rather odd, because these are very well-made games. As I found out while playing them, these are actually pretty decent. And the second game has 2 silent playthroughs from Australia. And, well, one from Australia, and the other from the same guy who played this one from Thailand. And there's also one very brief 10-minute look at of the game from an American. But regardless of any of that, we are going to take a look at these. Now, I haven't beaten these, but I've played quite an amount of them, and can explain what they are and their general functions, like the gameplay and all that. And generally, a little bit of history as to why, like when they released, what happened. Well, what happened is they became obscure, but yeah, it's just really, it enamored me because these are One Piece. It's One Piece. It's one of the biggest media franchises in the world. And yet, even I'm a big One Piece fan. I only came across these by just looking at weird game obscure forums and such and finding out these existed. And subsequently owning them now. But we're going to take a look at the blue one first. Alright, so this first game, this blue box one as I like to call it, because I don't speak Japanese, and I've had to fiddle around with translations and various websites and trying to do my own gut instinct general understanding of what's being told with this stuff. But it's got a very nice box. I'm going to show it off, adjust the aperture so it's clean. Has some very nice artwork of Oda's characters and such. I have no idea what any of this dialogue on the box is. I believe the top and bottom, yeah, the top and bottom are the same graphic. And the back of the box is very lovely as well. With a nice Toei animation sticker on the back. It's a lovely silver. And identification, I still am not entirely sure how it works. But apparently both these games can connect to each other and do something. The manuals kind of briefly show possibly something about a minigame connection between both the second game and this game, and both versions, like if you had 2 of these, or 2 of the other game, they could connect as well together to do something. From what I could guess, it seems to be some sort of minigame ability between the versions that you could play with each other, I guess. But yeah, these were both published by Banpristo. Now, let me zoom in there. I think it'd be better just to get a close-up. Now, Banpristo is generally known around the world as a toy manufacturer. They were acquired by Bandai in 1989. and subsequently were not entirely acquired, partially acquired. Now, the actual developers of both of these games was Alpha Unit. From everything that I can see, Alpha Unit still exists today. They recently put up a game called Whip Whip Whip, I think is the name of it, on the Nintendo Switch and PS4. So, the real oddity is, I'm not entirely sure why these are so obscure. They don't really show up a whole lot on eBay. There's virtually no presence of either game on YouTube. I had to dig for that information as to who has even done a playthrough, who's done anything with these games. There's virtually nothing about them. And the weirder concept to me is that these are pretty good. These aren't like fantastic. These aren't like Final Fantasy saving games kind of whatever have you Red Dead Redemption 2 level stuff. But these are pretty good Game Boy Color games. Some of the better ones I've ever played, compared to the Pokemons and such. Which, as it stands, I'll actually do a comparison. Because I've also never owned a single Japanese Game Boy Color game, and was a little surprised. Well, I own silver and gold, but not in the box. And the box amused me, because it is really small compared to a North American Game Boy Color box. We have silver here for comparison. It's like just smaller. It's so adorable. I love how small these are. They would look lovely on a bookshelf. But yeah, that's just a weird oddity that I didn't realize was another thing with Game Boy Color games from Japan. It's just the size of the boxes they're so tiny. They're so cute. But as it stands, what is this game? That is the real question. What is this game? The answer is very surprising. It's a Fire Emblem game, more or less. It's an RPG, and the overworld system in this game, because there is an overworld and a combat system in this, and it's pretty much Fire Emblem from what I can tell. I haven't played too many Fire Emblems. I've played a few. But it really is just Fire Emblem with a Final Fantasy / Pokemon kind of overworld. So you kind of move around as the characters and their cute little Pokemon-sized sprites and such, and there's wonderful music in the game, in both games. But, yeah, the fighting, once you get into a fight, and there are random fights and story-based fights in it, it transitions into a Fire Emblem-like grid, which I'll show in a moment after I'm done talking about them both and showing them off, because I'm going to show some gameplay after this as well. And yeah, it really surprised me to turn out to be kind of a Fire Emblem game. So then, what is the story about then? So first off, translating the names was both a really big hassle for both of them, because once again, there's not a whole lot of info on these, and like the One Piece Wikipedia and such, like the fandom, whatever it is, doesn't have a whole lot of info there. But from looking, like self-translating this subtext name of what the title is actually, with some help with the Wikipedia, and looking through a bunch of translation forums and such that were really old, really, really old, pretty much the best summation that this can be given as an actual title name in English for the game is One Piece, Birth of Luffy's Dream Pirate Crew. And this was developed and put out in 2001. Well, more or less, it wasn't developed. I have no idea when the development period was, but it was released in 2001, a month after Season 1 had ended in Japan. And this game actually is the entirety of Season 1 as an RPG. So if you're a really big One Piece fan and want to play through the story without having to rewatch the whole anime, you could do this instead. The thing is that this game, from what I can tell, because I never beat this yet, I intend to at some point, but this game runs at about 13 to 15 hours. And it's a pretty lengthy game for a Game Boy Color game in that regard. It is an RPG. I love how it says RPG in big letters there. But, yeah, it's a pretty lengthy game for what it is, especially being a tie-in game with more or less a direct tie-in game. It's just a retelling of the game, well, of the story as a game for a very recently released anime at the time. But aside from all that information, why don't we actually take a look at the game and the contents that this has? So this I purchased used. This is in fairly very good condition for being a used game, although most of the Japanese games that I do acquire that are used end up being in very good condition. The people over there really know how to take care of their used items, unlike a lot of used stuff I get here in America. So, what it comes in the box. Now, I believe this is missing 1 or 2 pieces because it is used. Just put that up over there, I guess. So it comes with the game in this slowly decaying plastic holder. You're going to start seeing this as plastic gets older, and I'm already starting to see it with a lot of things I get from the 80s. It's just the decay of the plastic warping and cracking over time. That's just something to expect from here on out as we move into the 2020s and the 2030s and whatnot. But yeah, it comes in this nice protective plastic case like a lot of Game Boy games do. You just have to pop it open. This one's being a little tight. Doesn't help I'm using cleanliness gloves. Let me take those off for a second to see if I can pry this open. There we go. Yeah, I was being a little stickler there. Didn't want to come out. Put the glove back on. And yeah, we got this very nice Game Boy game. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. And yeah, it's a pretty standard. It's on a black cartridge. Has a nice, very glossy label on it. Says by Ben Presto. I'm not exactly sure who Jaspac is. I see them on a lot of Japanese music albums that I get from there, but I think they're either a label or some sort of organization. I'm not sure, but yeah, both games do have saved battery packs. They do have CMOS batteries to save the game because they are RPGs. So both of these have had theirs replaced. So I had to test that out and double check the board and everything, see if everything was all good. And yeah, my copies here are able to save still. If they ever die, I can replace them myself because that's something I've done plenty of times with Pokemon. And then we get the manual. It's a pretty simple manual. If the gloves will cooperate. And it just kind of goes over some basic information. It's very glossy and very nice and colorful. I'm going to kind of skip through it a bit. And it really is just kind of a lot of general information as to the functions of the game. Yeah. And some of the more in-depth details as to how the RPG mechanics work exactly. You can see some of it here, actually, on this little panel. And who the characters are, all that jazz. That's about it of the manual. Just a pretty basic overview of what this title is, as a good explanation. Now, the second title in the orange box is the one that I see a few more people seem to bring up, as evident from the fact that there's about one more playthrough of this one than the other one out of like the 3 on YouTube that there are. So this one, from once again the best research that I could surmise of its subtitled name and title, is One Piece Grand Line Dream Adventure Log. And as the name would imply in the box art as well, since you have Tony Chopper and the full cast of the original characters there from the beginning, is that this takes place during Season 2 and 3 of the anime. Now, what that encompasses is that the first game starts out at Luffy's hometown and then goes through the beginning of Season 1 all the way through the end up until after Arlong Park. This one starts out in Logtown and ends at the Giants Island in the Grand Line, which is pretty much the end of Season 3. So overall, this encompasses a majority of the beginning of the Grand Line section of One Piece in the very early years, which is something I appreciate because I have a very high fondness for early One Piece, which is also why I was very shocked and curious about these games. But as for when this title released, it released in 2002, about a year and a half after the original game, and weirdly enough, I was surprised to find out how fast One Piece was progressing in Japan at the time, but Season 1 and 2 had already ended by about half a year before this game came out. Like, One Piece was chugging along. They were putting out a ton of episodes at that point in time during the early 2000s, and I was very surprised by that because, I don't know, it just seems really fast for a TV show to get into, like, tons of episodes or something. And now you may be wondering, what is this game like? What is the gameplay style of this? Because it is not the same as the first game. And I was also very surprised to find that out as well. So it turns out, this game keeps the Pokemon Final Fantasy-esque kind of overworld adventure of the first game. But the battle system is replaced and changed dramatically into just a purebred Final Fantasy game, pretty much. It's just a normal turn-based RPG. And that was very interesting to see because, I don't know, it's between Fire Emblem and Final Fantasy, those are two rather drastic RPG battle system changes in terms of how the game is played. But we'll show that soon enough when I get to that part of the video up ahead. It's coming up ahead. In any case, first off, this one I bought brand new. This is a brand new copy of the game. And once again, yep, published by Ben Pristo. And it's in pretty damn good condition for being new. And this game is next year this game will be 20 years old. The other one already is 20 years old, almost, in a few months, I guess. But once again, it has just some snapshots of the game. You see Drum Island up there, Luffy, bunch of Japanese text I can't read. And instead of a silver sticker from Toei, this one has a golden one for some reason. I don't know, I kind of like the silver one a little more. It looks a little classier. But yeah, and once again, this one can connect with other Game Boy copies of these games for mini-games, is what I can still just guess of these. So what's in the box? Well, everything in here is pretty much brand new, yeah. As I kind of hoped it would be, since I bought it new. Put the box up over here. And once again, it comes in this nice little keep case. Just take the, you could tell this one's new because this safety plastic, this container that holds the cartridge, is not all chewed up and crispy like the other one is. These also came in, I believe, well, they came in these protective boxes, these plastic ones, kind of like what I use for my Game Boy games, but these were fit for the Game Boy Color ones, but those were chewed up, man. Those were really chewed up. I'm going to take this one. Is it going to be nice and just open smoothly? Maybe. No? I'm gonna have to take the glove off again. Nice design, Nintendo, on these cases. Oh, this one's being even more sticklery because it's brand new. Come on. Open up. There we go. Yeesh. You'd think they'd make that a little easier for people, but I guess not. Anyway, so yeah, take that off to the side. Once again, let me zoom in on this. Once again, it's on a black cartridge. Got a very nice glossy label on it. Nice print of Luffy. They're all excited for the grand adventure he's gonna go on in the Grand Line. And Ben Presto, Jazz Pack. I'm still not sure if that's an R or an P. 2002. And yeah, it's in good shape. Just put that off to the side. Zoom the camera back out. Focus the aperture, and we are clean again. So, this one has a little bit more bonus documentation stuff because it's new. I don't know what any of this is. This looks like a registration card. Is it double folded in? It is folded in. So, yeah. This appears to be a registration card for, things. What do we got down here? Don't know what those are. They're in Japanese. Number 4 is N64. Number 6 is PlayStation. 7 is PS2, because PS2 would have been out for 2 years by the time this came out. PS1. That would have been the mini PlayStation. Pocket Station, a little handheld device, I believe was only in Japan for PlayStation. It's kind of like a VMU, but not. It's kind of like one of those Pokemon minis. Got Dreamcast. That's archaic. Number 12 is Xbox. But the X, it's X-box. Oh, that is archaic. That is weird. I'm not sure if that was a thing in Japan. Did they call them Xboxes like that? Was that I'm pretty sure that wasn't the branding for them. Weird. On the back is a bunch of, yeah, this looks like this would be the registration kind of stuff, like asking you questions about, your happiness with the product. Then we got a Banpresto little toy ad. And I find this amusing because these little figurines, it looks like this is during the Alabaster arc because, well, you got the turtle guys. I forget what part of the show they're from exactly, but Chopper's in his Alabaster outfit. And then the Luffy, Zoro, and Usopp are all pretty normal. But what's going on with this thing? Yeah, there's like a ladder. There's Chopper has a dead expression. That's the only face he comes in. Let me zoom in on that. So Chopper, you can only buy Tony Chopper from Banpresto if he's dead. That appears to be what that is showing. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, it looks. Oh, these appear to be. Looking at this a bit clearer, these appear to be only available from like gachapon machines or something. Huh. Strange. Very strange. Very weird to see a gachapon product be promoted in a video game as a pamphlet. That's strange. Whatever. And the manual for this one is pretty much the same as the other one, just kind of goes over some of the things. It's a little more colorful, actually, but this one also seems to have had a bigger budget as a game. But, yeah, you get some nice... I am extremely impressed, honestly. This caught me off guard with just how well Alpha Unit, because they were the actual developers of this. Banpresto is just the publisher. I am very impressed with Alpha Unit and how they mimicked Oda's art style for the Game Boy Color. This looks wonderful. Like, look at these. It'll be more present in the actual footage of the game, but it's just impressive to me how they were able to do that. Because the Game Boy Color... I haven't tried these on an original Game Boy. I'll get back to you about that actually once I start doing the switching over to the footage of the gameplay. I'll just chime in on that if they work or not, because I didn't even think about that just until now. But, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is still just running for normal Game Boy hardware and such. Just cut through some of this stuff. There's actually a bit in here. Let me see if I can find it about the mini-games stuff, because that's how I found out about it. With the connectivity between the versions. Yeah, it's right here. On page 36 and 37. Let me see if I can zoom in a bit on this. So they show off the various versions of these games and that they can connect and play with each other. And then it shows on the other side of the panel, this is still the same section due to the heading topic being the same up here. But it just shows like these mini games and such so you can play with each other. And it's rather odd. It's quite odd. But yeah, that's generally the gist of these Game Boy games in general. But the funny thing overall about that, I'll just add this in as a bonus before we switch to showing off some of the gameplay, and me explain a little bit during that. But this is not the first time Bandai has made a direct game off of the anime. And some North American people may know this, but we did receive a game like that kind of just retells the entire, retell the entirety of the story in an RPG. But we didn't get it till the 3DS. And before that, it actually came out on the PSP in Japan called One Piece Romance Dawn. It is another turn-based 3D RPG that personally, I know a lot of people, especially in the United States, found this game to be very monotonous and boring because it doesn't do anything new with an RPG. It's not some sort of weird take on anything. But I really enjoy this game. I have hundreds of hours locked in on this game on my 3DS. Now, this is the PSP version. This is what Japan got years ago. And I have played a bit of this on PSP. It's the same exact game, just untranslated. And I do like this game a lot. Now, we in America got this, One Piece Romance Dawn, because the box is a little shallower. It's a little hard to show it. Let's see if I can position the camera a little differently. There we go. Fix the aperture. There we go. Yeah, so we all got this in America. It was a limited release of 16,800. This copy is 639, I guess. And these were only released in GameStops. There's a full translation of the game from the Japanese PSP version. It's a port. I believe you can get this on the eShop. Maybe? I'm not actually sure about that. I've never looked it up. But yeah, most Americans who played this did not really find it very interesting as a title. I personally love this game quite a bit. It's not interesting, but it's a damn solid generic RPG. That's the best way I can put it. And this retells the entirety of One Piece. It's almost like this is a successor to these, in the sense that these, the Game Boy Color ones, are just directly telling the story of the anime, and this directly tells the story of the anime from the beginning, like these do, like the other ones do, all the way through the end of the Marineford War. Basically, the entirety of the first part of One Piece. And getting that out of the way, just as a weird subnote of these Bandai RPGs of One Piece, let us transition over to the gameplay. Alright, so now we're here with the game on my GameCube Game Boy player. And it's amusing because this is the intro, the first theme song. This is the first game from the blue box, and it has the anime intro in Game Boy Color sound font, and it sounds amazing. So do you wanna be my friend? We are on the cruise. We are. Oh, I just got a smile on my face. This is just so amazing. Once again, I just can't believe I've never knew that these existed. So we'll start the game. So, to my knowledge, from what I've tried, I think that this, I believe, is a setting, that's a setting. I think this is a new game, but this is a continue your game. So we'll continue where I left off at one point. I have gotten further than this at one point, but I restarted the game just to kind of show off this specific function. Ah yes, voice crack. And so this is at the beginning of the game. This is the world map. And the arrows, whatever direction you choose, will determine what part of the story. There are branching stories in this game that are not canonical with the show in a technical way. So if I go north, this is right after Luffy leaves, he beats the Sea King that's blocking his town's exit and all that. This is at the very start of the game. So if I choose north, it would be canonical with the Elvira encounter with Kobe and those pirates and such, where the anime actually opens up with him bursting out of the barrel and all that. Going north will technically put you on the canonical path. If I choose right, it will take me straight to the village with Zoro being held captive at the Marine headquarters there. So, we're gonna do the not canon thing and go see Zoro. And the first... I believe this is a no, but this is a yes. Like I said, I don't speak Japanese, and I've kind of had to fiddle around with this to try and understand. And that's gonna be an annoying thing for people. That's gonna be a turnoff for a lot of people who don't want to really fiddle around with stuff and don't want to learn Japanese or anything. Just, kind of trying to understand the framework of this game from a gameplay standpoint strictly and knowing nothing about the story. But the thing is, I know One Piece already, so I already know the whole story, so I understand what's going on in the game, which is very useful for a thing like, for a type of game like this, is I already know the story. But yeah, you just get this wonderful pixel art. It's very Pokemon Final Fantasy-ish. And it's amazing. I'm just amazed at how good these portraits look. For being... this is on Game Boy hardware. This is the same hardware that could play Mario Land 1, where Mario's drawn out in pixels. I don't know, I'm just enamored with this. And yeah, you just, you move around like Luffy, well, with Luffy and such. And his sprite looks pretty good. It's not very colorful like Color would it honestly give off, but it still looks good. It's fairly detailed. Yeah, it's not Game Boy Advance or anything, but Game Boy Color has a certain aesthetic that I think is well appreciated for its time. So there's the little girl who knows about Zoro, who's being held captive by the Marines, who wants to, like, give him food so he doesn't starve to death. And her mom's like, no. I'm pretty sure that's where Luffy gets his information about Zoro being here. Now, what's interesting to me is that, first off, the music's amazing. I don't know who composed this, but it's wonderful. Is the layout of this town is pretty accurate to the anime as well. It's just kind of a straight line town with buildings on the sides like this. And they got that, from what I've seen, they've gotten the geography of this game for the locations pretty down to the nail. To be represented on a Game Boy. Okay, we got a Marine who says go away. Is that a wall? Oh. Now they kind of fixed this in the second game, but not entirely. They lowered the occurrence of it. But this game has the best wall collision I think I've ever seen in any video game. Listen to this! That is insane. Talk about a buzzsaw. So... I was gonna say, is that there to signify I can jump over the wall? Okay, that was even for me who doesn't understand some of the mechanics of this game or the dialogue in it, I can figure that out. Okay, we're gonna see Zoro. There he is! There's Zoro. But, like, look how beautiful this looks. This is fantastic sprite work to mimic Oda's stuff. And Zoro's like, who are you? Why are you here? Why do you want me? Luffy's like, I want a swordsman. I want the best swordsman, and you're the best swordsman, so you're coming with me. You're gonna be part of my crew. Yeah, and then the little girl shows up, she's like giving him food or whatever. And he's like, no, don't do this. Then this guy shows up. This guy's design. So this guy is a... I'm not exactly sure his rank, but he's a part of the Marines. He's like a boss, quote-unquote, if you will. He's like a mid-tier or whatever guy who's just kind of overseeing the base and Zoro and all that for Captain Morgan, who's the actual boss of this place. I think this is his son? I think this is Morgan's son, if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, he's a he's a annoyingly interesting character. He's one of those pompous frou-frou, ho-ho kind of guys. And he just made the little girl cry. I believe by stepping on the food that she was gonna give Zoro. Yeah, this is pretty... From what I'm remembering of frame by frame of the anime, this is pretty spot on. I'm like, mentally, I'm just thinking of the conversation, the dialogue that's going on in the show in my head when I'm seeing all these panels. It's just like, yeah, I'm following along. I can't read any of this, but I know what's happening. So where are we? What are we doing at this point? Just... Are we gonna free Zoro, or... I forget exactly what we do. I think we're here to free Zoro right now. I don't think there's like a step back or... no, yeah, it is a step back. I was like, there shouldn't be. So yeah, I love the wall collision in this game, because if you push up once, you can hear the intended sound effect, but if you keep pushing on it and hold it down, it just goes apeshit. I've never seen that before in a video game. It's also present in the second game, but it seems like they lowered the occurrence of it, but it still goes like a motor engine. Alright, so... Who do we talk to now? Oh, he's here. Oh, we're getting into a fight. Okay, so this is the battle system. So, it's pretty much Fire Emblem. Like I said earlier. Like, you have your character. This is the movement menu. So, the first option is to move your character. The second option is to fight. I believe this one's kind of like an identification option to kind of scan an opponent, I guess. And this one is to skip your turn. So we're gonna move. Gonna go up. We can't fight, so we're just gonna wait. Well, this option in this menu is stats, but we're gonna wait. And then they're gonna fight. In both games, there's a lot of dialogue during the fights as well, which I found interesting. It makes the battles seem kind of alive in a way. I don't see that between, like, Final Fantasy or anything. There's not, like, a whole lot of dialogue going on. And in the second game specifically, because it has a Final Fantasy perspective, we'll get to that in a bit, but it really adds a bit more character, because then you'll have some of your teammates and some of the enemies doing their own things on occasion that you can't really control, because they have their own character dynamics. There was a fight I did with Zoro where he fell asleep in the middle of the battle and regained some health, but I couldn't use him because of that. Because he is his own character and he decided to fall asleep like, honestly, I would expect in the show. So this is movement. You can skip your move if you want to just attack. So that's a weak attack. There's also a special attack. Did we defeat him? No we didn't. We just kind of leveled up from the hit. Dude screaming as he attacks us. we're gonna go over here. We're gonna use the special attack now that we can use it. There is HP and special power in this. There's an SP meter as well. Well, stat. So you can do stuff like this. And do a really powerful attack on him. So now all we got is this guy. I assume he's gonna fire his gun? Yeah, he shot his gun at us. So he's a ranged unit. Okay, yeah. So it does appear that the special move only shows up... Luffy screaming at him. I can tell when they scream, that's... But yeah, it looks like the special move only shows up when it is ready. Other than that, you just do standard weak attacks. Okay, so he's down. Yeah, it's a slight arrangement on the original theme. Okay, so we kicked his butt. So, when you're in the overworld, I forgot to mention this, if you press A at any point, you're given a menu. The first option is Luffy's stats, which has a very interesting rendition of the main theme as well here. Just very chill, very slow tempo. The second option is the inventory, which I'm not even going to try to mess with. I know that this first option is a healing item, and I believe the second one is a item to replenish SP. I don't really know what this bottom option is. Oh, it's the save. Now, here's the weird thing is, if you save, which is the top option is to choose to save, it will quit out of the game if you save. The bottom option is to not save, and it just keeps you in the game. So we're gonna go get Zoro. And I'm still debating whether or not I'm gonna do like a full playthrough of these at some point or not. I intend to play these through on my own, but I'm still very... because it is going to be exactly kind of like right now. It's going to be me just kind of talking about the mechanics and kind of fiddling with things and a lot of trial and error. Luffy's being like, you can't die here, you gotta come with me. Zoro's like, no, leave me to die. Then Zoro's like, oh wait, no, I don't want to die. We're getting out of here. No, he still isn't coming, actually. Okay, so we're fighting the Marines. This may be this... I'm not entirely sure because I can't read it, but I think that was the scene where Zoro's like, no, and then Luffy has a ton of Marines over here at the side and they want to fight. So I think that's what's going on here. Let's go for this guy. This is, I guess because you can do this, this is also what this is the correct aspect ratio, but this is what it looks like when it's stretched out like it would be on a Game Boy Advance. Let's get closer. I don't like it as much with this game. I do prefer this for like Gold and Silver and Crystal, but I like this game more in the original aspect ratio. Let's do a special move. Okay, the thing with this is if it's like, oh, well, he's still playing this game, I want to see the second one and such. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. I want to kind of finish up, Zoro's stuff here. It shouldn't be too long. Let's do another special. See if we can just wipe these guys out flat. But yeah, it's just so weird for how decently quality these RPGs are. Just both of them in general. How obscure these are. These are very unknown games for some reason. It just blows my mind for such a big IP like One Piece. There's Morgan. Yeah, so this is when Morgan finds him and such, I guess. Is this the boss fight with Morgan? I don't think so. I think this is just Luffy running around the base. Because I don't see Morgan anywhere here, unless he's just a generic sprite like one of these guys. I don't think he is. I think this is just Luffy screwing around in the base. Gonna do a weak attack. Like, this music! This is good. Okay, he's a ranged unit. He's got a gun. Do a special. And my main point with showing all of this is pretty much the same thing with the Project Spark video I did before, is I just want to kind of have a little bit of some... I want to make something a little educational about something that a lot of people are not aware of, really. So, just kind of showing this off, explaining some of the mechanics of the game, showing what it was. The product itself was a very confusingly interesting thing to me. And yeah, because no one's really done that with either of these games, so I just thought I looked around, I was like, nobody really has ever given out any decent information as to what these things are. Oh, we got a randomized battle. I'm gonna see if I can run. Can I run? Oh no, I am stuck in this. I don't think there's a run option in this game, perhaps. Unless maybe if I can run off the stage? No, once you... Okay, so once you get in a fight in this game, you're kind of stuck. But yeah, that's exactly my point, is that I want to kind of show some of the mechanics, show, what this thing is, and that it exists, and... I do find this very interesting. And I want to share that. Because nobody else has, really. Alright, I think after this fight, if there's nothing else after this fight... Oh, I'm out of SP, okay. I might move over to the next game. Because I have spent an amount of time on this one. And this is pretty much it. It's all of Season 1 of One Piece in this first game. And this is the combat. You can tell what the overworld is like. Game's about... From my best summation of what I've seen in documentation, it should be about 10 to 14 hours, something like that. The other game, the second game, is also about 14 to 18 hours. So these are fairly lengthy. You get your bang for your buck with these, I guess. And also, if you really want to just play through One Piece Seasons 1 through 3 as RPGs, if you're an American in a format where you can kind of confusingly get through. Oh, oh, that wall collision. That is crazy. I love it. Alright, is this just another random fight? Yeah, it's another random fight. I think I'm gonna call it here for this game, just because it's eating up a lot of time, and this is the general gist of the game. It's just the story, the Fire Emblem-esque kind of combat system, and the Pokemon Final Fantasy kind of open world. So, we'll move over to the next game. Alright, so now this is the second game. Ben Presto's logo is a little larger. Alpha Unit. And a new graphic there showing Chopper. And then this kind of turned the second theme song into the main theme for this one. Yeah, I just find these music renditions so amusing. One other sub-note is I'm always interested how... I'm not sure if it's Toei or whomever has the licensing for One Piece specifically. It probably is Toei. But, well, when it comes to, like, sub-products like toys or... in this case, the video games, or the music soundtracks and such, it always has the From TV animation above the One Piece logo in anything that is not the show or the manga. They're all gonna split up and go to different places, of which I can visit. I'm only gonna play a little bit of the beginning of Logtown, just because I don't want this thing to become like I'll play through this all on my own and maybe as something for the main channel as a series, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes. This really is just a educational weird look at of this game. Well, both games. So Usopp and Nami left. Usopp went into that building, and we are free to go wherever. No idea what that is. You can tell the sprites are a little bit better for this one. They look a little bit, I don't know, the presentation's just a little cleaner on this one. So we got Sanji in here. Now, yeah, this is all stuff that happens in the anime. I've never really read the manga for One Piece, so I'm not sure if this is just filler stuff or if it actually happens in Logtown, whatever, but, yeah, these characters I'm all familiar with and such, and we're about to kick their ass because they are causing trouble. That transition is very Pokemon-like, I'll just say. But yeah, this is the combat system in this game. It's very Final Fantasy, but the funny thing is the layout is pretty much the same. Is a weak attack, a special attack, and honestly I'm not sure what that is, but I'm not going to touch it for now. So let's do a weak attack. Let's have Sanji do a special. Let's have him do, I don't know what this move is, but let's have him do a Collier shoot on this guy. And they still have their dialogue and such like the previous game where they just kind of do stuff in-game. Oh, 69, nice. Well, Luffy got pissed there. See, they just have a little bit more character than I'm used to in a game like this, where they do kind of sometimes do their own thing. And it's interesting. Let's finish this guy. Well, just do a punch, I guess. Yeah, let's just finish this guy off right quick. There we go. Yeah, run away. This game is a lot more dialogue heavy than the other one. Away she goes! Sanji is not impressed, he is upset. Then Sanji goes back to the cooking contest thing that's at the harbor. And I believe he wins it in the show. They even made a sprite for the fish. Like, look at this artwork. That's very good sprite work. And yeah, they do cover, like, in both games, just all the flashbacks, the whole verbatim, just all the story that's told in the show. It's weird. It's very thorough. Who are you? East Blue? I guess it's just some random NPC. They just have some East Blue sign there for people who are not important. Interesting. Anyway, I'll play a little bit more of this, but this is the general concept of the game has been shown now. There's an event up here with Zoro. It's his little sub-story in Logtown. I'm interested. We might see Zoro kind of act on his own and start falling asleep and such in the battle. I'm curious if that'll happen again. Yeah, there he goes, yeah. Nice. That's a cool special move. I have not used that one yet. Nope, Zoro didn't fall asleep. He didn't have a chance to. That was still a good fight. Clothing shop. We'll find Nami in here. Trying on clothes because she has money to spend. This guy's hair is a clothes hanger. And then she's like, I'm not gonna buy any of these, thanks for letting me try them on. The dude's upset. We got some more thugs. And I think this will be the last battle to show off this system. So let's do a special on the top guy. Let's do Nami special. She has 2. Let's do this one. That's a healing one. Let's do one of these on this guy. I don't know what that just did, but I don't think it really did anything. I think she tries stealing one of his items, maybe, if he has an item? Anyway, we're gonna stick to fighting. There we go. One dude down. And that is the battle, as the announcer from Pokemon Stadium would say. Gonna get some more story. They run away, got their asses handed to them. Luffy just left her. Yeah, I think that's about what I think that's a good amount of content to show about, like, what these games are. This one's... Oh, I gotta show the wall hitting. Yeah. It still has the same problem, but they partitioned it out by, like, a fraction of a millisecond, so it wouldn't just be a motor sound. But yeah, it's interesting. Both these titles are very interesting to me. I'm gonna try playing as much as I can, if not all of them, through on my own time, just to see how in-depth they get and how much they really cover. But yeah, that's, what are the actual titles of these again? It's One Piece... Luffy's Dream Crew, Dream Pirate Crew, something like that. Anyway, you get the gist. I said it earlier. But, yeah, that is the One Piece games on Game Boy Color. Things that I didn't know exist, probably most people don't know exist, and are very odd, yet very well made. Would I recommend these titles? I mean, if you're diehard on One Piece, sure, but I'm not really... Given the language barrier, I'm not sure if this is really for everybody. But I'd say if you're interested, like really, really interested in One Piece, I'd say maybe. But that's up to... that's a person-by-person case. So anyway, if you've enjoyed all this information, all this information, if it was educational, as I intended it all to be mainly, then, yeah, job well done. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Maybe with something like this again, or maybe with something more like Project Spark, or 99% chance more like my normal stuff where I just play through a video game. Anyway, this was fun. Have a good night. See you later.